As you heard in Mike Scott's newscast, so far we've got a 3-day pause in the bombings against the Iranians. Does that mean morale is improving?
Should we expect to see major strikes?
Look, we're talking to them right now. I think they're getting more and more serious as the days go by, for maybe the obvious reason. But we are talking to them right now. Look, there are two ways. I consider that the smarter way, but the other is probably the easier way, doing what we're doing. And we can take that to a much higher level if we want to. You know, we're prepared to do that, as you know. We're locked and loaded.
Locked and loaded. I know one senator who wants the administration to take this to a higher level. Senator Tim Sheehy, Republican from Montana, former Special Forces, took to the Senate floor last week and gave a pretty impassioned speech on the topic. First of all, on the Dem socialist talking point that this is a war of choice. Oh, it's a war of choice. He did a little bit of jujitsuing on that phrase. Take a listen.
This regime that we are fighting does not care about our partisan politics. They don't care who you voted for, who you pray to, or where you live. They want to kill all of us. And they don't just say it, they actually do it. And they've been doing it for 47 years. This is a war of choice. The Democrats are correct. It's a war of choice that was begun by a radical, lunatic band of terrorists that took over a beautiful nation 47 years ago. Took it over with brutality, force, and savagery. And the second they took it over, they didn't free their people. They didn't unleash the largest oil reserves in the world to build schools and bridges. They took it over to murder their own people and to spread their disgusting ideology across the world, and that is exactly what they have been doing. They don't just say it and talk about it. You don't have to believe what they say. You can simply watch what they've done. They have attacked families, women, children, innocent people. They don't just attack them and kill them. They rape them. They skin them alive on camera. They celebrate it. They honor those people who do disgusting things that we would put in jail for the rest of their lives in this country. And they do it for fun, and they pay them money to do it, and they're heroes to that nation. They've done it to friends of mine. They've done it to families who've been in this chamber. And the fact that we sit here and listen to elected officials of this country defend these lunatics who want us all dead. They want all of you dead. They want all of us dead. They don't want us to disappear with the snap of a finger. They want us to be raped, burned alive, and cut into pieces. Watch the video from October 7th. That's what they want to happen from Maine to San Diego, from Seattle to Miami. They want this country turned into a burning husk of its former self. And you don't have to theorize that. That's what they do. From the 1983 barracks bombing, where 280 Marines were vaporized in a morning, from USS Cole to the Achille Laurel to every terrorist attack, from the Houthis, Hezbollah, Hamas. These are not humanitarian freedom organizations. They are death-dealing cults, and they want all of us to die brutal deaths.
And he's got the standing to say it in no uncertain terms, as he did. And he's right. And it's appreciated the quick walk down memory lane, since so many of us have such short-term memories when it comes to who exactly we're dealing with. I don't know, buying the propaganda of, Al Jazeera, Chuck Schumer. Is there a difference? Sheehy went on to say, we have never had a POTUS hit back until Trump. And effectively, we need to finish this.
There's never been a single president who has stood up to Iran and hit back. For 47 years, our troops and our families have been absorbing attack after attack after attack all over the world. And their radical ideology does not stop at the Persian Gulf. It doesn't stop at Tel Aviv. They want to do this everywhere. It's a global radical ideology. And we've been fighting it for half a century. We didn't start this war. We did not, but we will finish it. And forever wars are not popular with anybody these days. Both sides of that, I love to attack our forever wars. And I can promise you, being someone overseas wearing the uniform, when you're fighting for your country, you don't care what party's in office, but you're fighting to defend your country. And you turn on the news and see your elected officials stabbing you in the back, telling you that you're failing, that you've failed every goal of the war, is what I just heard. Last time I checked, we've wiped these bastards out. An occasional missile strike and boats in the straits, that's not military strength. Those are the flailings of a failing empire. Those are the flailings of a nation in collapse because they deserve it. So I encourage our colleagues on both sides of the aisle, whatever's politically convenient, whatever plays well on Twitter or Facebook, think about the people who are deployed right now, standing on that wall with a loaded weapon, who have volunteered to defend our country and our way of life. Because they are there defending us in a just war. Because we did not start a war with the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. They started it with us 47 years ago, and their attacks have gone unanswered for half a century. It's time to fix this problem and make sure another generation of Americans does not have to fight this murderous, savage adversary.
All right. For reaction to those remarks and more discussion on the topic, Stephen Bucci served America for 3 decades as an Army Special Forces officer and top Pentagon official. Now visiting fellow in the Heritage Foundation's Allison Center for Foreign Policy Studies. Stephen, thanks for being with us, as always.
It's my pleasure. Good opening. Boy, Senator Sheehy did not mince any words, did he?
No, and I think a lot of people, even if you don't necessarily agree with them or you aren't convinced to move in the direction of further engagement, it's hard not to respect what he's saying because it's true and because of his service to the country. So at least we have adult talk happening. That's useful.
Yeah, it sure is. And, it's always amazing to me the number of people that opine on some of this stuff and have, this is America. You can opine about anything you want, but you need to recognize when someone else stands up to speak that has had skin in the game, who understands all the details of it, not just the theoretical ones, and who can speak with that kind of passion. I mean, that was not a politician blowing smoke. That was a military officer who has served and lost friends and brothers and sisters, and is now listening to other politicians bloviate about these subjects. And you saw the raw feelings there, and I think they're accurate feelings, and it's somebody we should, at the very least, consider strongly what his the position that he's advocating for.
No question, and I'm all for righteous vengeance, but I mean that can't be the only driver of policy here. I understand that too, and so where do you assess things, and particularly in the context of this 3-day hiatus after almost 2 weeks of daily bombings?
Well, if we're taking 3 days off to give our guys some time to recalibrate targeting, to bring up more munitions, to bring other assets there with which to strike the enemy, I'm fine with that. If you're taking another 3 days because you think these boneheads are going to negotiate with us with good intent, that's a pipe dream. I don't believe President Trump is that idealistic or that naive. He's never shown that tendency before to be that naive. He does have a strong desire to not be the wartime president, but to be a president that knows how to achieve things through the deal. But I think in this case, the Iranians are not the partner that he's going to find that fulfillment of that desire in. They're just not there. And I think Senator Sheehy has a better handle at this point. It's not just revenge and retribution. It's we've got to fix this problem so it doesn't go on forever. And the only way to do that is to remove them from power. And that's what we need to do.
The Wall Street Journal reporting something else, too. Trump over the weekend was asked about LeBron James signing with the 76ers, I think he was asked the question LeBron versus Michael, which is an easy answer. Obviously, Michael is the superior basketball player. But he said, I only like people that like me, and LeBron doesn't like him, so he doesn't like LeBron. So that would seem to go with for the Iranians too. And the Wall Street Journal reporting this: the war has taken a personal toll on the president and some of his senior advisors. Some top aides have been advised by intel agencies that the Iranians are seeking to kill them and have been told to stop taking car services. Iranian efforts to assassinate top-level administration officials on American soil, and how that factors into the approach to that regime.
Well, I think if that kind of thing happened, the response would be really, really over the top, and probably drive us to do something that we might regret later. But it's a possibility. The IRGC are not normal kind of operators. They are assassins. They've tried to assassinate high-level people on our soil. And the fact that there's a ton of their folks who are in this country, we kind of know that.
Yeah.
I don't know the specific guys and that sort of thing, but I know we follow those people around. And if that occurs, or an attempt to do that occurs, I think the response ought to be devastating.
And so how again, if you were advising the president, how do we proceed here? Let's say that what you were suggesting is the basis for the pause is to sort of reconstitute munitions and provide a bit of a 20-second timeout, if you will, before you get back in and continue doing what you're doing. If you said, ultimately, like Tim Shee is saying, we need to finish the job, which is something on the order of regime change. That's what it sounds like to me, like actual regime change, not a reshuffling of the deck. So what is the progression that you would be advising the president to take in furtherance of that unstated objective while the blockade has been reinstituted and the bombings of previously identified strategic targets continues?
I think we need to widen the target list. We need to go after some of the so-called dual-use technologies. We need to really, no longer focus on, being so precise and worried that, the Iranian people that are under the dictatorial power of this regime probably, I believe, in the stuff that I've talked to, the expatriates I've talked to, and the other things I've read, that the few things that have leaked out of the country, those people are done with this government. And they are willing to absorb some hits if it allows them the freedom down the road here. So, yeah, I think we need to bomb more stuff, if you want to just put it crudely. I can't really give you a specific target list. I'm not privy to the intel with which to develop that. But we need to go further. We can't just do this stuff around the Straits of Hormuz. We need to go all over the country again and take out anything that assists the IRGC both to project force outside the country and to use inside the country to repress the population. Take them out, every bit of it.
If the assessment was made that we need ground forces to get into Pickaxe Mountain or to make sure that the Iranians don't have access to Pickaxe Mountain to sort of reconstitute their nuclear program, for example, or that we needed to decimate and or take Karg Island to cut off the economic inflow, if you will, what sustains the regime in its current formation. Is that something that you think is judicious? If that was the assessment by those who know that this is what's required, we're going to have to send in special forces units to accomplish X, to accomplish Y. The two things that we need to accomplish: reopening the strait, that's the Navy, obtaining the nuclear material, ending the nuclear program. That's in part a conversation about Pickaxe Mountain, and maybe the larger play of further destabilizing the regime in the hopes that it falls is that Karg Island play.
I think that the Karg Island one is probably a better bet. It's Karg Island being an island separate from the mainland of Iran. You could do an operation there and then use other assets, air and naval, to isolate that island from any retaliation from onshore. Going into Pickaxe Mountain is a tougher one. It's in the middle of the country. And, I'm all for using whatever massive deep penetrators we have to isolate that facility. But I think going in and getting stuff out of it before there is a permissive environment, like a new government, it would be very tough to do. You'd literally have to conquer the whole country before you could do that. Karg Island, different thing. I think we could take that in a blink. We could hold it without the kind of danger that the idea of putting somebody into the middle of the country, a bunch of people to do an extended operation or a holding operation. I just don't see the Pickaxe Mountain one beyond the massive bombing. I don't see that one as doable yet.
Do you have any recriminations about this, quote unquote war of choice, as the left says? Do you see it the way that Sheehy sees it, or do you say this was a war of choice? I could see not doing it in retrospect, but it was on balance, even if we only push back their ability to nuclearize a decade or even a few years, the decimation to their industrial base, military industrial base, it was worth what we've done to this point?
I think it is worth it. If we had only pushed them back a little bit, you are literally kicking a can down the road and ticking off the other side while you're doing it, and basically motivating them to do more crazy stuff and dangerous stuff. If you're gonna take out a rabid dog, you don't give them a bone first. You have to take it down. And right now, I think the Iranian regime has shown itself to be the rabid dog of the Middle East. I know we have legislators who don't think that. We had a whole presidential administration that don't think that. But this administration recognizes it. I think their neighbors realize it. And it's time for America to act like America and take these guys out. They do not deserve to stay in power, and peace and security, not just ours, but for that whole region, depend on removing them.
Do you see any sense of urgency with respect to how long we can sustain the naval blockade? I know the U.S. CENTCOM reported over the weekend, posted on X, as of July 25, CENTCOM has redirected 12 commercial vessels trying to run the blockade, disabled 2 that didn't comply, and boarded 2 to ensure total compliance. So, we've got naval superiority as well as air superiority, as we've had when we've desired to have it. But is this is there any pressure on the timeline to hold this blockade and provide this escorting before you can sort of definitively say that the strait is open and will stay open, or that it will be conceded to some consortium of Gulf states and we're taking a back seat?
The blockade, I think we could maintain for a long time. It's expensive, but it's not like, we're bleeding money and sold sailors are dying every day and our ships are being sunk. None of that is going on. So the blockade is, I think, could go for a long time if we needed it to. For sure, we don't want to do it for a long time.
Right.
We'd like for the darn thing to open and everybody be able to do business and get on with life. But to do that, you've got to remove the threat. And this threat is not going to stop being a threat based on negotiations. They're really hoping we'll just get tired and say, oh, well, okay, then you guys take care of it. Don't worry about it. Just stop being so mean. And, that's not going to work with the Iranians. They're not trying to be mean. They're trying to dominate and spread their ideology by any means possible, and they're pretty comfortable with doing it violently. So I don't see how we or the rest of the world can allow them to stay there.
Stephen Bucci served America for 3 decades as an Army Special Forces officer and top Pentagon official, now a visiting fellow in the Heritage Foundation's Allison Center for Foreign Policy Studies. Stephen, thank you as always.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me, and look forward to talking to you next week.
All right, take care, sir. And Stephen joined us on the alphawealthgroup.com answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer. Maybe you've thought about taking a cruise. Maybe you've even talked yourself out of it. But this is not just another vacation. This is the Gulf of America cruise. 7 days through the Caribbean with Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, Jennifer